you have to find the sweet spot over there. Like, it's good that you have demandingness for yourself when it's pushing you forward, but if it's something that it criticizes you all the time, it's not a good thing. And it actually, we have researches about it, that it doesn't help you achieve more if you criticize yourself all the time. Okay.
You're listening to Mind is Your Own Business. My name is Salla Ibrahim and I'm your host. In this podcast, we share stories that are usually left untold. We shed light to the struggles and learnings of successful people who have used Laavu's psychological coaching. The people behind the stories are real, but the details have been changed to protect the confidentiality. We hope that by this we could validate the fact that each and every one of us have our own struggles, and maybe also give you some insights on how to cope with your own mind. Today we're talking about stress and how to manage it. And as a guest, I have Lasse Karjalainen, who is a performance coach and a psychologist at Laavu. Welcome, Lasse.
Thank you.
Lasse, you have coached around 100 business leaders and founders of fast-growing companies. Based on your experience, how common it is that your clients struggle with stress?
I think it's really common. Yeah, maybe roughly 40 to 50% of our clients are struggling with stress in somehow. And it's quite obvious also because our clients are in positions which includes quite a big amount of stressors. But I have to say, at the same time, there are also people who doesn't have stress as a problem, even if they are in high-performing position. Okay. And I think it's interesting. It's
even more interesting. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
Yeah. But today we are also, or you're sharing a case study about this topic, and you have a story about your client who had problems or challenges with their stress levels. Could you please share a bit about the initial situation?
Yeah.
Where the client was and how they approached you?
The client was a middle-aged man from a tech company, and they had around 60 employees. And he has a wife, one child, and a dog, and he was experiencing physical stress. Not a severe one, but something he clearly wanted to get rid of. And it was blocking his well-being and growth as well. And for example, he felt constantly at some kind of weight on his chest, and he couldn't focus on things he wanted to do, like in his free time, like listening to music and stuff like that.
So very physical symptoms, like pressure on the chest and then lack of focus.
Yeah, it was really physical, and that was our main goal, to get rid of that physical feeling. Yeah.
So where did you start with the client?
In this case, the first topic was how could I be more efficient so I would get more time.
All right. What did you think about that?
Well, I think it was the client's way to fix the stress problem. It's not maybe the best way to fix it, but we started with that because it was important to client.
Isn't it quite common that when we have stress or problem with coping with stress, we try to kind of optimize the things, and we try to start with like time management and making our calendar look more optimized, but that's not necessarily the root cause of the stress itself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So what was the root cause, and how did you find?
In this case, we started to mapping like I usually do with clients. First, we map out the situation. We actually do the mind map, what the client know about the situation right now, and we found some points where to dig deeper. And with his case, those points were like self-criticism. He was really demanding for himself and his values, like what he wanted to do with his life, and some beliefs as well. Like he had a belief that if I have to do this alone, otherwise I'm not a good leader.
So he saw himself only a good leader when he did everything alone. Okay.
Yeah.
And also demandingness and maybe not understanding their values.
Yeah.
Okay. And those were kind of the root causes. What did you find for the stress? So what were the key insights that the client got from the sessions?
Well, the client realized that he is actually a better leader when he delegates his responsibilities and loses the grip of the responsibility. Yeah, and he don't have to survive alone. That was, I think, it was quite a big.
So you crushed the belief that he had about leadership.
Well, it's actually really hard to crush beliefs. So we can ease those beliefs and like make it smaller, but it's really hard to fully crush beliefs. What we can do is that we can manage how that belief is affecting our behavior.
So it doesn't have that big effect anymore. We can kind of manage the belief.
Yeah.
And isn't beliefs have kind of their roots are in the childhood, so it's pretty hard to kind of get rid of those perfectly, but we can learn how to live with them.
Yeah, usually like if you have coped with world like 20 years with some kind of belief, it's really hard to like fully crush it. Yeah,
but you can become aware. And
that was, but I have to add, that was one insight, and other one was that the client noticed that he get actually better results when he's not so harsh himself. Like he had the inner voice in his head saying that you're not so good. Why did you do that?
Isn't it? Demandingness usually is also, it's very common when around successful people, especially because that's something that also helps you get further and achieve a lot. So it's very controversial also.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but well, I like to say it's not black and white thing. Like it's not either good or bad thing. So you have to like you have to find the sweet spot over there. Like it's good that you have demandingness for yourself when it's pushing you forward, but if it's something that it criticizes you all the time, it's not a good thing. And it actually, we have researches about it that it doesn't help you achieve more if you criticize yourself all the time.
So what about the values? What did your client find from the values?
Well, he found that success was an important value for him, and that's why he used quite a lot of time with like work. But also he learned that he can fulfill his value even with his personal life. So
it doesn't necessarily have to be work where he is successful, but he can also fulfill it somewhere else.
Yeah, that was that was one insight from there. And also he didn't know his values before, so he got like a list of his values and what kind of behavior it demands. Yeah.
Right. So what did you do as a coach that enabled the client to get these insights?
Well, I asked questions and listened to him.
Oh, simple as that.
Yeah. Well, like with all clients, I want to understand the situation, and I believe that when I can totally understand the client situation, usually the client understands it as well, and after that he or she can fix it. So that's a really important thing to do in coaching. And also, that's not the only thing. We mapped out his values, like I said, and we did some steps to how to live more according to them. and we went deeper on his thoughts, like about them demandingness and why it's not natural from him, and how it helped him to survive in his life, and what are the downsides also. So we like analyzed his thoughts and emotions and situation like a bit further away, and I also challenged him with his beliefs.
So like giving a new perspective to his own thoughts and helping himself to find the solutions.
Yeah.
Cool. So what did the client start doing differently then in order to manage the stress better?
Well, he started to delegate more his responsibilities. That affected quite a lot his time using. Yeah, that was one thing. And also he learned how to use his family as a resource.
Okay, what does that mean?
It means that he learned to talk with his wife about work-related worries and emotions and thoughts and things like that.
So share a bit more about his life.
Those are like really concrete things. And also the first one was something that he got lots of new time because delegating tasks.
Yeah, more time.
Yeah.
And what about the pressure on his chest? What happened to that?
Well, it didn't like end fully, but it got easier really much. Like he don't have it anymore like all the time, and it sometimes he still have it, but he said that he's really happy with it now. It's also a sign that something important is going on. So yeah.
And how long did you work with this client?
It was around 6 months. So I think it was really good results. So yeah, we were both really happy about it.
Great. So as a psychologist and coach, what would be your advice for the listeners who might be struggling with stress?
I think take it seriously. It's important thing because there are loads of research about how harmful stress is. Like if you feel it constantly too much, it's really harmful. So please take it seriously and after that reflect your situation and what is causing stress for you and list those things.
How do you know what's like too much stress? Because there's also, you can have like good amount of stress and that's good for you, but how do you become aware like where's the limit?
I think I understand the question. You have to listen yourself, and I think if your own compass is not on right, then you have to ask also from others what is the normal amount of stress.
So ask help also for the reflection.
Yeah, but the first thing is you have to listen yourself and ask yourself, is this good amount for me? Yeah.
And then map the situation, like understand the situation.
Make a list of all those stressors and then take an action. Plan a little bit at what can you do to better the situation. So, and if you can't do it alone, then ask help because many people can help you.
That's good advices. Thank you so much, Lasse.
Thank you.
It was nice to have you here.